Hi, this is Aaron from Superior Singing Method, and this is how to go from bad singer to good. Okay, how to go from bad singer to good. Now, if you think you're a bad singer, then you've probably experienced some kind of cracks or breaks in your voice at some point, where you're singing, you hear a little something like that, which is annoying and doesn't sound that good and can also be extraordinarily embarrassing and really affect your confidence. So I want to give you an exercise that's going to help that not happen anymore. If you do this for some period of time, it is going to fix that problem. So the goal is to have a nice blended mixed voice, right? And by mixed voice, I mean a voice where you can sing like the higher register of notes with power, without the cracking and breaking, without a ton of strain. And you want that blended voice, the blended voice where your chest voice and your head voice, it's not like to where there's that crack between your different registers, right? I don't even know if I did it right. Let me try one more time. So it's like, I guess that's a good example, like going from your head voice to your chest voice. Now what you want is like a right? You don't want any of those cracks from head voice to chest voice, and this exercise is gonna help you. I want to tell you a little bit about the benefits of this exercise before I actually give it to you. Now, the first one is it helps you get good chord closure. Now, the consonant sound that we're going to use for this exercise is a V. That gives a nice little buzzy sound on the chords and on your lips there. And what it's going to do is going to help keep your vocal cords. I would keep doing this because your vocal cords can split apart and come together. And what we want to keep them together because sound comes from air passing through vocal cords that are together. Now, when they blow apart, so it's like that's what it sounds like when they blow apart. It's just that airy sound that you don't want. So this exercise is going to help you keep good chord closure while you do the exercise so that you can get through that passageway and begin building those muscles in the passageway, that crack between your head voice and your chest voice. What this is also going to do, it's going to help you with your muscle memory up in your higher range, in the higher register, so you'll be able to hit those notes, sing those notes a little better. And this could actually be, I wouldn't recommend doing this exercise as your very first warm-up exercise, but I would recommend doing it as your second or third vocal warm-up exercise if you're using it as a warm-up exercise. Okay, you ready? So this is called glissando siren on a V consonant. Now, glissando, it's just a big word. It basically means like a continuous sound. So it's instead of like staccato, it's like where a continuous sound is like right? So this is a glissando siren, and the siren is going to go like this. It's going to be on that V consonant, and you're going to go. So you're going to do it like that, and I want you to do that several times, 10 to 12 times, and notice you can get through your passageway, get through where you would normally possibly crack or break, but you can do it a lot easier because this V sound is going to help keep those chords together, and in the meantime, build the muscle memory in those areas where you would normally crack and break to keep a nice bond so there's no more cracking and breaking. And the last thing I want to say is I've created a quiz for you. If you click the link below, a quiz that's going to help you find your #1 singing killer. Now, I've identified a handful of singing killers that almost everybody struggles with, but usually there's one that you struggle with the most, that if you discover what that one is and figure out how to correct that one, it opens up all kinds of vocal possibilities for you just by getting unstuck of that primary one that's holding you back. So, okay, how to always sing on key. Now, one of the most common pitch problems of not being able to sing on key is lack of grip on the chords, and I'll explain more about that. Now, the opposite problem is like too much grip on the chord. That's like too much compression, like hey, hey, people try to sing high notes and bring up their chest voice. There's like a strain and like a raised larynx. This is actually the opposite because you actually need some compression or there's no sound. And another word for this compression or this grip is actually onset. Because here's the thing, singing is the whole point of singing is to convert air into sound as quickly as possible. And so we actually don't want any air escaping at the beginning of a phrase. I hear it all the time, but when somebody's singing, you'll hear like, hey, just like a little bit of sound escaping. But what that happens is when air escapes at the very, very beginning, it affects the whole phrase. It's hard to stay on key for that entire phrase. And then it's a habit that people can get into and do it on just about every phrase, which can blow the entire song. So of course we don't want that. And there is, there's stylistically, there's the more breathy sounds, like in the 80s, it was a lot of breathy singing. But there's not a lot of that today. And if you want to do it stylistically, that's fine. But that's different than what we're talking about here. I want you to get that grip and get that onset right away so that you can get the best pitch and the best tone for your voice. So here's an exercise on how to do that, how to get a good onset, get good at getting this onset every time. So here's the exercise. I want you to hold your breath for a second, for a couple seconds. So hold your breath, and then I want you to come right out with an sound, and then ow. I just want you to hit it's mostly the ow, but I don't want you to hit that right away. It's going to kind of be like a starter block, like a sprinter has that starter block that like launches them, helps them launch forward. That's what this ow is going to be. So hold your breath a little bit. Oh. And so I want you to do that like 5 or 10 times, before you get started singing. Oh, and get a sense of what that grip sounds like, that immediate grip where there's no escaping. I want you to actually, if you can do that 5 or 10 times, do it for about 30 seconds. This should solve a lot of your pitch problems by getting that onset right in the first place. Okay, how to sing, improve your pitch. Okay, so a lot of singers, I would say many, if not most singers, they have some trouble with pitch, like staying on key and actually sounding like they're supposed to sound on the different notes. And if you're off key like a handful of times in a song, or, especially in the first handful of phrases, like somebody's usually write you off. They don't want to hear all that. So I want to teach you one good idea, one good exercise on how to improve your pitch. The most common reason for pitch problems is actually tension. I know that seems like simple and insignificant, but it's actually pretty radical thing. So when I do exercises in the morning, I do a lot of exercises that help loosen up my face and my jaw and my neck and kind of my whole body, because tension it's a really big deal. But the other type of tension is the pull up the chest voice, like this is your chest voice. Hey, I'm talking my chest voice down here. Hey, this is my head voice up here. And so when I sing loud, when people like sing up in the higher notes, a lot of times instead of going into head voice up here, they'll try to take their chest voice and be like, hey, like, hey, get those high notes still like in their chest voice. And that creates a lot of strain in the voice here. And it actually raises your larynx up. And that basically is squeezing all this like area right here. And it's impossible to have good sound in general when you're squeezing your throat like that. But what usually happens with that strain is notes go flat. That's flat. Like flat is kind of go down. So what's happening is you're overusing what are called the compression muscles inside here, and that's like the whole raised larynx thing. And if you've had any vocal training at all, you may have heard somebody be like, it's like super simple. Just relax. Some vocal coaches will say, just relax. Like, well, give me a break. What does that even mean? Just relax. Like I would, just relax. Easy. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I'm fully relaxed. I'm singing. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But the point in there of the relaxed point, and that's not my whole lesson, because this is just a tiny part of it, is just be conscious of what you're doing. When you're singing, if you're really tensing up your neck and you're tensing up this, and you are bringing up that chest voice, hey, instead of going, hey, up there, just notice what you're doing, and that'll go a long way. So here's the exercise I want you to do, though. When you, actually I'll get there. What helps actually lighten up that strain and that tension and all that stuff is adding a little bit of the pharyngeal NG sound, that sound that you may have heard me. I talk quite a bit about that, but I want you to get there in a different way this time. This time I want you to stick your tongue all the way out, and I want you to do an ah sound, like almost like an ant, sound. And I want you to do it like this. I want you to do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 first. So basically like ah. When your tongue is all the way out, it doesn't allow you to get all that strain and that tension in there and get you into that pharyngeal kind of NG a little bit. So that's the first one I want you to do. Ah. You can raise it up a note. Ah. And then another thing you can do is I want you to go even further with it. I want you to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all the way back down. So it'll be like this. And what this exercise does, is it decreases the use of the compression muscles in your voice, and obviously you're never going to sing like that, but it trains you to know what it feels like that when you're singing up there in your head voice, it's got less tension, and so you know that it's possible. So when you're singing regular notes, you'll know how to kind of position your throat and your mouth in order not to feel all that tension. And before you go, if you click the link below, I've got this great new thing that I've created. It's a quiz to help you find your #1 singing killer. I found that there's only a handful of singing killers, and if you could discover what yours is, it will help you actually skyrocket your singing a lot faster. So if you click the link below, that'll be the quiz. You know, some questions will pop up. You take a quiz. You've taken quizzes before online or Facebook or whatever. You take the quiz, and it'll actually tell you what your #1 singing killer is. And not only that, I will send you a video that I created for that very specific singing killer and how you can fix that, because I want you to have all the resources you need in order to be a great singer. So click that link below, take that quiz today, and I'll see you next time.